You know what, guys, I have to admit, perhaps I was a little bit hasty in making my comparisons between Joe Biden and Jimmy Carter. You know what, they might not have been one-to-one comparisons. I thought I was onto something, but then, of course, former President Donald Trump brings up something very, very important with his analysis of the situation. I see that everybody is comparing Joe Biden to Jimmy Carter. It would seem to me that is a very unfair to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy mishandled crisis after crisis, but Biden has created crisis after crisis. It's just so funny within the first couple of lines. First, there was the Biden border crisis that he refuses to call a crisis. He slips up every once in a while if he's being talked to in a parking lot when he doesn't have handlers around after his golf game. But otherwise, it's just something that's happening down there. Kamala, can you deal with that? Kamala! And the Biden economic crisis, about that jobs report. Then the Biden-Israeli crisis, which is not even close to reaching its peak yet. That's getting a little fucking sketchy. And now the Biden gas crisis. Joe Biden has had the worst start to any president in the United States history, and somehow they will compare future disasters to the Biden administration. But no, Jimmy was better. Fucking oof. It's unfortunate, not a whole lot of people will be able to see this, but it's such an accurate description of what is totally going on right now. But as you can tell by the headline, by the thumbnail, you guys know what this is all about. And we got, of course, another little bit of Trump wisdom to go off of. There were long and horrible gas lines like this under President Trump. The fake news would make it a national outrage. Did Joe Biden put Hunter in charge of our energy? With all his Burisma experience. Even Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm is lost. What does he mean by that? Well, we actually got a statement, and we got the statement from the bitch who I didn't know who was in charge of energy. I figured he probably would have had a czar for that. John Kerry probably. They had to coax him out of the closet. He would have banged his head on something on the way out and probably passed out. So they sent this bumbling bitch out there. Pipe is the best way to transport fuel. Oh, really? After you guys shut down the Keystone XL pipeline thinking that you can all of a sudden make cars run on wind. Fucking amazing what you can do all of a sudden. Department of Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm admitted during a press briefing on the Colonial Pipeline cyber attack Tuesday the best way to transport fuel across parts of the country is pipelines. Thank you. What is this, the 1980s? We're just coming up with this technology now? Like, oh my god. Stick to pushing critical race theory, stick to pushing divisive topics, and just leave infrastructure and actual work to, I don't know, regular Americans. You guys can work on your nebulous horseshit out there. I can't believe there's a fuel secretary or an energy secretary that is right there. Somebody who should be on top of this stuff, finally realizing that the way to transport petroleum and petroleum products on petroleum accessories is through pipelines. Fucking amazing revelation this bitch came to. It's all right. It won't last much longer. Pipeline officials hope most of the service will be back by the weekend. You guys are just going to have to deal with the horseshit that's going on right now. What kind of horseshit are you dealing with? Well, the fights at gas stations. 2 people were arrested after a fight at a gas station near Raleigh, North Carolina, as fuel shortages affecting the eastern United States worsen. Footage of the altercation at a Marathon gas station in Knightdale was shared on social media by a man identified as Rashad by local media, but that post has since been taken down, and all we have right now are just screenshots of it, and things are getting suspect, to say the least. And we'll move from one North Carolina story to another, with 1 in 4 gas stations in North Carolina out of fuel. Yeah, about 25% of gas stations in North Carolina have run out of fuel as of Wednesday morning, as states from New Jersey to Florida suffer from the truck driver shortage, combined with a fallout to the pipeline's operator network being breached. Wow! If the situation in Texas wasn't enough of a wake-up call, this should literally be story number 1. This should be headline berserking news. This should make Texas's response. You remember when everything froze over there? That should make that response look like child's play, okay? They should be working night and day to get this one cyber attack back online. But what are the pundits saying about it? Well, their big story. Okay, yeah, they mention it here. Colonial Pipeline's back online, so I guess they're beating expectations there. That's cool. Other than that, you got Liz Cheney, who we'll be talking about in the second video of the day. Something going on with CNN between soldiers and CNN crew members. Don't care. Something about Chris Rock and Chris Farley. It's good. It's a good thing that they're on top of stuff. Oh, but they can't, of course. It couldn't be a CNN front page without a picture of Trump and something, with bad news in the title. Full of shit, the whole lot of them. But what's going on over in the real world? Some 24.8% of the 5,273 fuel stations in North Carolina were out of gas as of 6 a.m. this morning, according to Gas Buddy, a travel and navigation service. Yeah, everybody uses it around the world. Way to compare and contrast different fuel prices in any given. Literally, it works up here. It's worked Edmonton. You can search it everywhere. Everywhere it works. That included 71% of stations in and around Charlotte. Oh, okay. The largest city in North Carolina, nearly completely out of gas. I'm sure by the end of business today, they'll probably be out unless the pipeline starts up again, but then you still got to transmit everything from the refineries themselves to the gas stations. And when you don't have enough truck drivers to get everything there, things are going to get sketchy by the weekend. Hopefully things will start clearing up. But like we seen, there was a fight breakout, and then the long gas lines have started. And once you get there, you get greeted by an overwhelming price increase. Why? Because scarcity drives up prices. And bigger prices means more taxes, which means Democrats are subsequently happy by this cyber attack. Gas prices this week hit the high water mark since 2014 in the wake of a cyber attack. Last time Joe Biden was in office, you have to wake him up and remind him that he was the vice president at that point. But boy, what a sterling reminder of the great success that the previous 4 years were, and what a disaster the first 4 months have been. Average price per gallon across the United States hit $3, according to an American Automobile Association, the good old AAA. Last time the nation saw average prices at $2.99 and higher was November of 2014. The lowest price are in the South and Upper Midwest. Yeah, where they're not reliant on the Colonial Pipeline. They've got other reserves, and there's a smaller Dakota's pipeline that's there to supply the Midwest and a bunch of other pipelines further west in order to take care of stuff. Gas stations were selling gas as high as $6.99 per gallon. How fucking awesome. The average price per gallon last month was $2.79, up from a low of $1.87 in April and May of 2020. It seems like so long ago. And then you'll have those fucking big brains out there being like, well, the average price of gas per gallon is up, and that means that the economy is recovering because more people are using gas. And you should probably just dismiss those people and just shuffle them back to the nearest short bus you can find. Prices are expected to rise further, especially if Colonial Pipeline is unable to fully restore its operations by the end of the week. But they're still going to have the problem of getting it to the specific goddamn gas stations. So there is going to be a crisis. So if you're currently in a lineup right now, top up, make best use of what you have right now, because it could very easily turn into a Mad Max type situation. And in preparation of this such situation occurring, Virginia, Georgia, and Florida governors declare states of emergency after Colonial Pipeline hack. Oh boy. Governor Blackface, Ralph Northam. Did you guys forget about that story? Yeah, that one went up in the fucking ether, just like Andrew Cuomo, who we'll probably be talking about in the next couple of days, because boy, did he get away with everything, huh? Just like predicted. And Georgia Governor Brian Kemp declared states of emergency in their respective states in response to gas shortages following the recent hack of the Colonial Pipeline. Moves come after North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, asshole, declared a state of emergency on Monday. And what has that done? Resulted in 25%, and in Charlotte, 7 out of 10 gas stations being out. State of emergency is called. Everybody panic. Start lining up. Start draining the resources, you fucking dickhead. Gas stations in multiple states across the country began running dry as gasoline prices rose on Tuesday after fuel pipeline halted operations for days following an attack by hackers. Oh yes, some people are saying it's literally, if I was to tell you that some Democrat blue check marks on Twitter were going to blame one group of people for the cyber attack, what is the first name to come to mind? And you honestly could time your watch by the accusations leveled against this group. They're dragging up the old, dead, rotted, beaten corpse of Russia and saying that they're Russian bots hacking that made the Colonial Pipeline shut down. Hack is a perfect descriptor of these people because they have No fucking idea. And the people making these accusations must have a little bit more RAM. They must have a little bit larger of a hard drive in their head after they've gotten their recent NPC updates, because they can still go, Russia was at the source and they hacked everything. Fucking morons. Oh yes, the EPA on Tuesday issued temporary waivers of certain fuel standards to increase the supply of gasoline in areas who reformulated gasoline to the impact of the shutdown. In particular, it waived federal reed vapor pressure requirements for fuel sold in reformulated gasoline areas in the District of Columbia. Of course, they got to look after themselves first. Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. All of those, with the slight exception, even though they went for the Democrats in 2020, are Democratic strongholds. A little fucking weird that the EPA would be looking out specifically for themselves. Not really, but whatever. The waiver will continue until May 18th, of course, because they're smart. They're planning ahead. They know that it's not, oh, okay, we're just going to go ahead and flip on the light and then all the fucking gas is definitely going to be flowing right back to the gas stations. That's not how it works, you morons. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation's Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, what is old butt judge up to? Shouldn't he be mobilizing as many people as needed? He is the transportation secretary. After all, this should be right up his alley. He's probably too busy staging a bike photo op. He couldn't be reached for comment, I suppose. Has declared a state of emergency for 17 states and Washington, D.C. on May 10th to allow flexibility for truckers to transport fuel. But are they? No! There's a shortage, didn't you hear? Northam's emergency declaration will allow state agencies to relax state requirements and regulations to mitigate the impact of the shutdown. It will also provide flexibility and funding for the state and local governments to make sure there is adequate fuel supply, according to his office. I'm sure there definitely won't be more instances of the fights breaking out at gas stations. There definitely won't be an entire freak out, just like everybody. You guys remember what happened at grocery stores at the onset of the pandemic. You guys remember people fist fighting over toilet paper? Oh boy, doesn't that seem like the good old days, because now we just keep ramping up a little bit more. It almost feels like that boiling frog situation, They started off by telling you to just stay home, 15 days to flatten the curve. Then they started to tell you what you can and can't buy at grocery stores, at different outlet stores, if you can even get back to them. Certain businesses aren't even allowed to begin with. It's just essentials. And then now, in order for climate change to take place, or not to take place, but rather to be regulated, we need to start regulating how much gasoline you can have. Oh, right now they're facing the backlash of it because it was so sudden and so severe. But they're not going to take this opportunity to learn from anything in a positive sense. No. They're going to take this opportunity to learn what they can do, how much fear, how much control they can strike off the back of this right here. If the retards would have been out in full force saying, this is such a good thing, this speeds everything up, we'll be able to transition into different forms of fuel and electric cars will rule the world. If you would have had California in charge, is basically the gist of it. Don't be surprised as soon as everything returns back to normal, or the new normal, as we've come to learn that phrase and detest it oh so very much. Don't be surprised if rationing or different other restrictions get placed in order to prevent this from happening again on such a widespread basis. Remember, it'll be done for your safety and for your good. We're just looking out for you, the little people. Meanwhile, what's always constantly looked after first? DC? Yeah. Rules for thee and not for me. And speaking of which, somebody who had to fall on their sword because of their high moral standing, and guess who's got her back? Hopefully there's a significant amount of people there in order to reinforce for the trust fall. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Liz Cheney getting the fucking heave-a-ho. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.